All right, here we go. Welcome. Pre-Thanksgiving Day edition of the Daily Fix. I've got two special guests I'm going to bring on in just a sec. We've got Pete Shaw, Monique Waters, and most importantly, we're going to talk about MetFix Spark. What the hell is MetFix Spark? Let me get into it real fast. So here's the deal. MetFix Spark is a program that we are launching globally in January, and I'll get into more what that means in just a second. But here's the deal. So it's a 4-week intro health program designed to strengthen your metabolism through a low-carb, whole food approach and functional movement. So really over like the last 2-3 months, we've been developing Spark, which is a turnkey MetFix course designed exclusively for affiliate owners to deliver inside their gyms. All this information comes from the Foundations course, because a lot of the questions that we were getting from affiliate owners and trainers after the course was like, this is awesome, but how do we bring this to life in our gym? So the Spark is that bridge. It connects the education to implementation. It gives you everything you need to run a ready-to-go MetFix metabolic health program for members to jumpstart or reignite their nutrition, understand metabolic health, and build lasting habits. All right, so what the hell is included in this thing? 4 plug-and-play lesson plans and workouts for 4 weeks, coaching resources, member handouts, and recommended data collection tools. We'll talk about all these in depth in just a second. Additionally, for you guys, we've got marketing and communication templates. That way, it's kind of like you can just download it, throw it up on your social media or your email. And it's, it integrates seamlessly into your existing class schedule. And we'll talk more about that in just a sec. As always, like this program is intended to serve as a guide and a template. We expect you to take the source materials and add, subtract as needed to fit the unique culture of your gym. Goals of the program. So we want you guys to be able to educate your members on the fundamentals of metabolic health. We want you to be able to build sustainable nutrition and movement habits, increase affiliate engagement, retention, and revenue, and build a scalable entry point for MetFix within your existing gym. Some benefits, right? So turnkey implementation with zero guesswork, right? So we tried to make this thing as cut and paste as possible. So you can just click, download it, and go right into it. Or, a lot of you probably want to take your time and add your own flavor to it. Either way is cool. And it's an added revenue stream through a structured offering for current and or new members. Like I said, we'll get into all this in just a sec. And like it's resources to fully support your coaches and staff. And then we'll talk about what's next later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back, get some folks in here who are way more cooler than I am and can dig into this so much better. Pete, Monique, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Monique, you're the real MVP. I know you're on West Coast time and you had to wake up super, super early to join us. So we totally appreciate that.
Oh, I'm a couple hours into my day. I'm fine.
Oh, perfect. Are you a morning workout? Or are you the morning coach or
5 a.m. coach? Yeah.
What time's your day start? Like 4?
4. Mm-hmm.
God bless.
That is so gnarly.
Yeah. I do really well with my East Coast friends.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm on your schedule just over here.
Okay. Great. So that was a little intro there, and heads up, like that's the email that's going to our affiliate owners, as I was just kind of struggling to read through that. But so what I'd like to do here is like the reason you two are here is Pete is obviously head of MetFix Education. Monique's on the dev team, but this is kind of your idea, Monique. You want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So I went to Ohio to the Foundations course, and coming out of it was just so much information. And when talking with the coach that I went with and a couple others, it was like, okay, so now what do we do? That was sort of our leaving. It was like, we have all this info, but what do we do with it exactly? And we also did a survey in California with a few affiliate owners here. and asked, what do you need? What do you need help with? And the number one thing was marketing. And the number two thing was a plug and play nutrition program. So in order to meet that need, the idea was to create something that would allow a coach coming through the foundations course to plug and play something, sort of like the progressions that we get in our level 1 handbook. Those progressions give us a guideline, place to start, something to begin our coaching with when we get our level 1. And so this is kind of that same idea. Like, here's something to start with, and then you can develop it and create it into something better, something that works better for your affiliate, for your members, for your clients, based on experience. So that's what this is. It's the progressions, and you take this and you practice, and eventually you're going to learn more and know more than we had to start with, and refine it and become awesome at teaching nutrition.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right, Pete. So, I mean, you've done the lion's share of work here. Like, the cool thing about this, before we go even further, is like, a lot of this was generated by Monique, and we were like, yeah, this is a great idea. This is what we need to do. And then from there, we kind of convened a little working group of MetFix affiliate owners to see, hey, what would you like to see? What are you doing in your gym, to kind of collect the best practices from all those to kind of shape how we wanted to do this. And then from there, Pete, obviously being the subject matter expert, came into board and helped us take course material, and then I'd say like translate that down into the 4 weekly lessons plan. So you want to talk more about that, Pete?
Yeah, that's I mean, it was obviously a huge collaborative effort, and like you were saying, the working group was amazing. Like you were just talking off air, that you like to go into your rabbit holes from time to time with certain things. And for the past couple of months, MetFix Spark has been my rabbit hole. And so, I like you, I generally work best when I just put my head down and kind of go crazy with a certain line of thought. And the working groups were amazing, because you're right. Not only did we take the material from the course, which is sort of the foundational education piece, but we had ongoing discussions with current MetFix affiliates that have their own programs in place, which created great discussions around what was working for them, what in their own experience, like Monique's experience and Lori and others, what were things that they found maybe didn't work in the past with certain clients. And so as we sort of created the structure and tried to create essentially a progression over the 4 weeks, a progression of learning nutrition, based on that education, it was really important to make sure that in each step, with, like you were saying there, Dale, the homework that's in place after every single week for the participants in MetFix Spark, the timeline and the lesson plans that we hand to the coaches to actually deliver the nutrition material. There's also the workouts themselves. That workout material and those lesson plans are there. But the meat and potatoes of our affiliates do that really, really well, and needed more guidance on the nutrition side. So really weighing in heavily on, how do we structure this out so it makes sense, not just to the coach, but also to the participant. And then just, heavily influenced by the best practices of the affiliates that are, already doing it best, which are the MetFix 100.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I kind of want to lead here is, I guess let's just kind of start on a very rough, because we don't need to get into the nitty gritty details. That'll be later. So kind of where I want to take this show is, hey, it's because I love to pick on Brian, but it's Brian from the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, and he's like, all right, what the hell is Spark, right? So let's just real high level go into it. Like, I'm the affiliate owner. What do I need? What's going to happen next? Or actually, before I even go into that, like, let's just go over the course weeks, from pre-launch, week by week, and kind of hit some highlights, kind of what you were just talking about, Pete. Monique, what I'll do is let's go pre-launch with you. And I'm, by the way, you can tell this was not we did not have any of this pre-planned. So I'm just playing stump the chump.
You got it. No problem.
From the hip. So, Monique, let's talk about what all is involved in pre-launch. And just so everybody's clear, our goal is this will be launched globally inside MetFix affiliates the week of January 14th. And we'll talk about everything that needs to happen before that, but our goal is everybody does this together on this first initial shot. So let's just talk pre-launch, Monique.
Okay. So we wanted to also answer the call for help with marketing, for getting new people in. And so the very beginning of this is going to include marketing the program through the MetFix channels that we can also share as affiliates and utilize. But the idea is just to hype it up, right? Everyone's already going to be excited going into the new year to, fine tune their nutrition or their fitness in general and utilizing whatever programs they can. So we want them to utilize our program. And so the idea in the beginning is just to make it really exciting, right? As a MetFix affiliate, I have my members have heard about MetFix. We have the flag up in our gym, right? And they hear little hints. Like we went to a MetFix meeting down at Lori Hill's gym in the Bay just this last weekend. So they hear about us doing stuff with MetFix all the time, but this is an opportunity for us to really introduce it to our community. Like here is the beginning of MetFix and what this really looks like. And so that's what pre-launch is. It's just hyping it up. My gym, we've actually decided to put a halt on our usual program that we do and just focus in on getting everyone into Spark, because even though it is going to be very basic for a lot of people who've been doing nutrition coaching with us, it is a chance for everyone to do it together. And of course, we know how community plays out when it comes to effective results, right? So yeah, that's what the pre-launch is. That's what the beginning is. And then we phase into our first meeting, which we're hoping all the affiliates will do the first meeting around the same time so that we can kind of see how this plays out and learn from each other as we do it. And the first meeting is about helping our members, our athletes, our clients gather data about themselves. So really understand where they're at in their health and their fitness, all the way from getting, biomarkers to how many push-ups can you do, or how, what's your blood pressure, all of that stuff, right? So everything from in the gym to out of the gym, that first meeting is just helping them understand the full picture of their own health on a much more detailed level than they already do, right? Some people understand maybe like their insulin, or maybe they understand their blood pressure, maybe they understand cholesterol, right? But maybe they don't. Most people really don't. They've heard the words, they probably have been talked about it from their doctors, but they don't really get it. And so that first meeting is just a snapshot of their current health. And so we have this really awesome intake form where they can gather as much information as they can in that first week. And then we phase into, what does your nutrition look like? And so
let me stop you there on that intake form, and because this is all happening in real time. So me and the squad will have developed an online intake form, and then so everybody can, so at my gym at PSKC, let's say, to kind of double tap on what you were saying, Monique, is all right, first thing is just getting the word out. Hey, this 4-week program is coming to PSKC. We'd love to have you participate in it. So on the owner side, it's up to them to figure out what they want to charge for this. We're not gonna spend any time saying what you should or what you shouldn't do. But we all agree you should be charging for this because it's a new program you're implementing at your gym. How much you're going to charge is really going to be dependent upon how much touch points you're going to have along the way, right? So when you're saying the meeting, that's technically that's going to be still in the pre-launch category. You're going to cast as big a net as possible. That net is going to go to new people who've never set foot in your gym. And it's also going to go to your current members, because it's an additional program you're layering on. So a part of that is, hey, if you could go back to day one of when you first started going into the gym, imagine if you had kept track of your bio data from that point. With this tool that we're giving affiliate owners, it gives you the ability to do that. And it's an online, and we have, it's in the course, but we have, I don't know, I think it's anywhere from 8 to 12 different categories that we, recommend you tracking along the way. It's something as simple as like everybody can do. They can track their weight at their house and even their blood pressure, to going down in specific blood work panels that you can have drawn away. But
we've got 13, Dale.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was right in there.
Yeah.
So, but the cool thing is, you'll be able to send this link, or you can fill this out for your member, and they can see it and have it and input the data anytime they want online. And then as the tool for the affiliate owner, you'll have a dashboard that you can then go and see everybody at your gym and where they're at along the way. So that will be included in the course. And oh, by the way, this course is free for affiliate owners. I guess we never really said that, but this is included in your affiliation. So get the interest out.
Can I say one thing on the health tracking there, Dale?
Yep.
So one of the things that I think we've all observed over the years is that the people that are most successful in changing their lives in our gym don't just come in for the movement part. They take control of their health with their diet, and they're also paying close attention to their health markers. This, as far as like the fitness side that we know and love, right? Back when, CrossFit changed the fitness industry, part of that was part of the reason we all got involved, because the people that were seeing the best results were doing functional movements at high intensity, right? And so we all swung that direction. In terms of the health side and the nutrition side, my take on this is that we should all be swinging in the direction of those people who we see every day who are getting the most results and the best results. It's when they combine it with the nutritional approach, but also keep track and awareness of those health markers. So like Dale's saying, we're trying to give the tools to affiliate owners to be able to do that with everyone in their gym and not just a couple people doing it on their own.
Yeah. And now that you bring that up, it's where you make the best success or where you create the most damage is the other 23 hours outside of the gym, right? So this enables you to give more hooks into them outside of the gym as well, by them logging their food, knowing, like focusing what to eat, focusing on their on their biomarkers, and engaging and inputting all that data. So that was something we really want to develop and deploy in this initial launch, and we're glad we did. So cast the net out, get as many people interested as you can, get them into what we'll call an informational brief, right? Get them all interested, tell them about what's going to happen, tell them about the data collection, the biomarkers, all that stuff, get them signed up for the program. And then Pete, what does week one look like?
So week one after they've signed up, they're ready to rock. They come into week one, and each week has a pretty consistent structure in terms of like what you're going to see as the affiliate owner. You're going to have access to an outline, a presentation outline for yourself for the nutrition meeting. So that would be your lesson plan, your nutrition class lesson plan. You're going to have a workout lesson plan. And our recommendation is that each week you set your clients up for success by having them come in twice, once for the nutrition class and a second time for a workout, each separate. So they're coming in twice a week. And this would be for someone who's completely new to your program. We realize that you're going to have, especially the current affiliates who have a lot of members currently, who they might be funneling through the program as members currently in their gym. Maybe they've already got their workout schedules lined up. They already come in like anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe 6 days a week. So they would just continue on with whatever workout program that they're doing. And then the new part for them would be the nutrition class. So it's there for you. And as Dale said earlier, you sort of plug and play and tweak it as you like. And you're also going to get a participant handout that's going to have worksheets and homework. It's going to come in PDF format that you can print off and you can hand out at the nutrition class. And then in the lesson plan itself, it's going to prompt you to go through those details of the homework, of the handouts with your clients before they leave. So Each session kind of starts with a review of the previous week, and then you're going to go through a bunch of nutritional education. There's a lot of interaction that takes place, and at the end you kind of review the homework, you review the handouts that are going to help them be successful as they do the homework for the week before coming back to the second week, and then kind of building off from there, as we said earlier, like that progression piece.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, the course is designed from MetFix HQ to the affiliate owner / trainer, right? So you'll be able to go inside your dashboard, you'll click the link, and inside that it's basically broken down into 4-week courses. So you're gonna click week 1, and inside of that will be the lesson plan. There'll be graphic support as well. So when we talk about certain protocols or bullet points in there, you'll have associated graphics, and you could use those they're meant for you to like write on the whiteboard, or you can just hand them out. But they'll basically be written content along with graphic support, and it gives you everything you need to know to deliver that lesson. And you could, I'm going to say, from like no ad-libbing, you could just go word for word along with it. Or what we recommend is, use it as a template, as a guide, and then you kind of add your own instructor flavor into it. But can we talk more about like
the specific content,
the rough draft of lesson 1?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's week 1's theme is awareness. So you're bringing people in, they sign up for the program, they want to get healthier. Step 1 is for them to be successful, they need to understand where they're at. So we come in with, you're going to obviously give them an explanation of and definitions of what MetFix is, what metabolic dysfunction is, the problems that people could potentially have with their health, and then where you want to end up. And then you're going to give them the tools to go in and assess these things in a real practical sense. For example, we're going to have a real introductory food log that's going to be incorporated into every homework throughout the weeks. And I don't want to say difficulty, that's not the right word, but the detail in the food log that's required by the participants to put in is going to increase slowly throughout the 4 weeks. So if they've never tracked their food before, then we're going to start real easy for them. And the first one, for example, is I believe it's just cooking at home. Am I right on that, Monique?
That's right. That's the big
focus. I believe the very first one. It's just, so we're creating awareness about the whole program. We have ideas for how to prepare themselves in their kitchen, right? So a list of things. We know that a lot of people entering these programs potentially already in your gym, lots of people with super busy lives. I know a lot of successful people who spend a lot of time working. They don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. They eat out a lot, right? And we know the potential negative health outcomes that go along with eating takeout all the time. So we're trying to make friends with the kitchen at first, because that's sort of where you're going to live and spend most of your time. As far as food goes, if you want to be successful with changing your health. So we're kind of familiarizing people with that environment, again, getting them aware of like what's actually in their kitchen, what might be bad, what might be good. And then, okay, we don't even care what you cook, just get in there and cook. And let's just check the box as we move through the week before we come back and put another layer onto the pie.
Yeah, and so this is like this goes back to the whole like co-development process. And everybody, we go back and forth on how to do this, and eventually what we landed on is we're not going to overwhelm people right out of the gate, because if you make this too complicated or you make it overwhelming, then it's just like if there's too much to do, nothing gets done. So we just the food logging, the awareness, and we kind of get into like stay away from this as well. So that's a big part of week 1. And so every week, regardless of the week, right? So coach delivers the lesson plan, the clients, members, athletes receive homework to do for the next week. They do their homework, they bring it back in. So and this goes back to implementation, right? So you can set this thing up to where you're just reviewing everybody's stuff once a week at the regular meeting time, or they have the ability to meet with the coach, text the coach, hey, you said this, I went to my kitchen, is this acceptable? As they're texting you, getting the whole thing out. So we give you different implementations along the way, but every week has the lesson plan for the coach, for the trainer. We have handouts and homework for the member, and like you said, one workout to do along with every week. So Monique, let's talk about, that's kind of week one. Week one is just kind of general awareness. We give them some definitions of health, some metabolism, the whole deal. I'll give them some homework to do. What happens on week two?
So week two is about quality. So that's our theme for week two. And so this is where we go over the practical MetFix diet, the practical prescription of MetFix, which is eat meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some starch, little fruit, no sugar, no seed oils. And so we teach them that. That's the big focus. I love how John put this. He was on the development team for this. Food, not food. So just teaching people what food is and what isn't food, and then focusing in on that. So that's really what the next week is all about and why. Right. So there's the practical, but then there's also, we get to go into why is it that, Pockies are not food and carrots are food? Like, what's the difference? Right. And how our body handles them. And so, yeah, that's week two. I love, and this is sort of just more of what we've been saying, is that, when you first become a coach and you teach movement, you start by teaching the air squat. You learn how to teach by teaching the air squat. You don't learn how to teach by teaching a squat snatch, right? So this works the same way. Like week one is you teach the air squat, and then week two you teach the front squat, and then week three you teach the overhead squat. So even your athlete's progressing, but also the coach. If you're brand new to teaching nutrition, I love how the sequence of instruction also is teaching you on a gradient scale. It's not just like, okay, deep dive, teach about the Ross hypothesis, right? Like, it's like, no, let's just go over how to keep a food log and what should be in your kitchen to cook with. And then it's like, okay, here's the diet prescription, and here's why there's food and not food and what happens inside your body. So it like builds up. And then we go into the next week, which is a little bit more to teach. And so not only are your participants learning, but you're learning how to teach nutrition on a gradient.
Love it. And then also week two, we kind of get into, like you said, the beginner's guide on how to cook. And we give them some daily fix examples, provide that tool to them. And not only just, what I like about it is, hey, it's like, here's the X's and O's of how to cook, right? So, caveman need fire, need pan, right? But from there, it's just like, also, hey guys, like, here's some things called like time management. If we want to set ourselves up for success, we kind of need to be thinking about how we're going to plan our week. And this is how, like, everybody's favorite term, meal prep, comes into play in the whole thing. So that's how I like how we layer that approach on there. And then Pete kind of hit us about week three.
Yeah, week three. So week three, we're moving from quality into quantity. And in just briefly on week two, like the homework building from the homework for the participant, the client is building from just getting in the kitchen and cooking anything to now we've educated them on the quality. And so let's identify some areas that we can maybe make some positive changes for higher quality foods. And again, it's just like, check the box if you had more green on your plate or you ate meat, right? Instead of, substitute protein powder for meat, or just at all eat some protein, right? Maybe that's the change they're going to make for quality. So you've got some pieces in there that you go through in the outline to encourage them in the right direction. Week three is quantity. So we're moving from quality to quantity. And if you've done any nutrition coaching in the past, you've definitely thought about those two concepts and definitely in that order as well, right? Before we get into like how much we should be eating, We definitely want to be focusing on the quality, but even when we at MetFix, we get into quantity and we start educating on it, it's in a different light. It's through a slightly different lens. It's less about the total amount of food, and it's more about the specific macronutrient ratios, which to us is of extreme importance, right? We educate people that a high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet is one that's going to give you the metabolic fix. It's going to reverse and prevent chronic disease. It's going to make you healthier than ever before. And so when we talk about amounts, we're talking about those specific amounts of fat, of protein, and carbs, and how they work together. And if you do eat in that way, in combination with whole foods, that's actually going to take care of the total amount without even having to think about it. Right? So your natural satiety signals are going to be able to take over and tell you when you should and shouldn't eat, because you'll either be hungry or you won't be, right? And so first educating them on, what's a macronutrient? Again, getting to basics, like what's fat, what's protein, what's a carbohydrate, what food groups that we talked about in the previous week with the whole foods actually fall into each of these categories. Like, how do we start thinking about that? What is high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate? And if I'm ready for that change to start thinking about those ratios, like how do I calculate that, and what does that even look like?
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, and what I like you said about that is, and I was just looking through the graphics package, just like you said, high fat, moderate protein, low carb. It's one thing to say that, but we also provide visual tools. Mm-hmm. So this is what good fat at, let's say 100 grams of good fat versus 100 grams of seed oil fat looks like. And you can kind of begin to compare and contrast. Oh, well, this is why I would never get full eating this along with the high carb versus, 2 sweet potatoes, 6, you know what I mean? Like, we provide those visual examples for people to really wrap their heads around.
Totally. And actually, by positioning the quality food ahead of the quantity in week 2 to week 3, it actually makes it a lot easier to follow the high fat, moderate protein, low carb prescription. Because if you're eating whole foods, that's more or less where the diet falls anyway, is when you're eliminating processed foods, and you're eating, across the entire span of our practical prescription, like meat and vegetables, as Monique said. If you're eating that way, it pretty much will be high carb, moderate protein, low fat. So it makes it super easy. Is if you're successful with that homework and you come into this week, you get some education on it, but you're kind of already there, and then you just need to make a few tweaks. But like you said, without that education ahead of time, you're looking at the seed oils, you're like, oh, this is perfect. It's fat, or so it can fall within my macronutrient ratios that they've asked me, but we definitely want to stay away from those kinds of things. So then there's a little bit, like you were saying, there's examples, but then we also have in the homework some real simple math equations to calculate someone's like starting point for a high fat, low carb diet. And they can use that with the homework, and you can kind of work through them with them in the nutrition lesson. Maybe those preliminary calculations and what a single meal might look like with those examples. And then they're going to go out and try it. They're going to try to actually track their macronutrient intake. They can do it loosely on a sheet of paper. You're going to go through potentially some apps if you feel that you want to do that with them. And then that would be the homework for the next week.
Yeah. And so then that leads us to the final week 4. Monique, you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah. So week 4 is about measuring. It's about measuring health. So this is where we start getting into actually tracking our biomarkers over time and making sure, being our own scientists. This is the difference between someone who just does what they're told and doesn't pay attention and just ends up on whatever path they're told to walk down. This is where we teach our participants to be their own scientists. Like, send this data record the data, do the activity, record the data again, see how it affected you. That's ultimately how our members and our participants are going to gain certainty in what they're doing. And with all the noise and all the false information and all the, the aunts at the dinner table, well, I'm doing this now and I'm only eating sourdough bread and I'm doing, right? And it's like, oh, maybe I should eat sourdough bread. But if you're actually tracking your metrics and checking for yourself how the diet and the nutrition is affecting you, there's nothing that can sway you, right? It's just like those of us who've been doing CrossFit for 15 years, people come at us and are, oh, CrossFit's dangerous. We're like, okay, maybe you should try it, right? Like there's nothing that could sway us from what we know because we've tried it. We've measured our fitness over time. We see how we compare to our peers, who are aging with us, and we know the difference, right? And there's no amount of, this coming up and that coming up and right, that could sway us from our path. So that's what week 4 is about. It's about learning how to measure your health over time and how to track what's going on in your nutrition with what's going on in your health. Perfect.
And so how I kind of want people to think about it, actually, before I go there, the structure of the sessions, so we are recommending, obviously, you add a class time for this, or a session time, whatever term you want to use. So let's just say generically, this is going to be a Saturday 10 a.m. class, right? And I don't even like the word class for this. I don't know what a better term is, but at times, yeah. So what people will come in, the coach, regardless of the week, the coach will present, right? We give you the materials, the tools for the coach to present on the whiteboard. But more importantly, what I like is at the end, we kind of have this like back and forth discussion. So we invite the participants to ask questions. So it's not just like a ramrod of information going down. Like we're gonna present, and at the end, give the participants the ability to kind of have like mini feedback groups inside of it. Because, if one person has a question, obviously 3 or 4 more probably in the group do. And so it provides them the ability to be educated. But more importantly, let's just call it like kind of like a group counseling as well. Yeah.
Brian's got a good comment there.
The think tank. Yes, exactly, like a think tank, right? And we see from the foundations course, like that's what a lot of people think is some of the most valuable aspects of the foundations course. So you're giving the opportunity to educate your members, but more importantly, you're giving them the opportunity to express their frustrations with maybe a lifetime of dieting mishaps or miseducation, and you're providing a space for that. I like coffee talk is another great one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So another way to look at like the overall program too is I love going back to the basics, the things that we've been teaching and we've known for a long time, those datums that have served us over the years, and the elite fitness in 100 words, right? It starts with eat meat and vegetables. And so, what we're doing on week 1 is we're teaching people how to eat. Some people just don't eat. They don't eat all day, and then they just cram whatever in their mouths that they can find in the evening, right? So week 1 is just eat, right? It's the first word of elite fitness in 100 words. We're going to teach you how to eat. And then week 2 is let's eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, right? And then they're just eating meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds. And then week 3 is, okay, now we've got to pay attention to some quantities. It's some starch, little fruit. What does that mean? What does that look like? How does that play out inside of our bodies? And no sugar and no seed oils, right? Now we're talking quantity. And so it's really just what we've always done. It's just that we've created a program to teach it. We've systemized how to teach what we've already known actually works. And so I imagine there are some coaches out there that have, dabbled in nutrition and maybe wanted to help people with nutrition and wanted to implement something because they know the difference and they've applied it to themselves. This is just a very simple structure for them to start with what they've always known works, what they've applied to themselves, and in a way that it's supported and I mean, we're going to have handouts. We're going to have slides. So you don't even have to write on a whiteboard. That's the part that freaks me out. I've always just lectured from slides. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my spelling, right? Like, and so we'll have it. We're just making it as simple as possible for a coach who cares, who wants to make a difference on a nutritional level to be able to deliver something.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
One thing that we haven't touched on yet is the fact that this is intended to lead people into an evergreen MetFix program at the facility, at the MetFix affiliate, right? And so that's something to keep in mind as well, is like, as affiliates move towards planning and implementing this, is if they're not already having programs like Monique's in place, that, like Monique said, that she has a nutrition program and she's basically just turning it into a MetFix program. Maybe you don't even have a nutrition program yet to go alongside your movement classes. Well, now's the time to start thinking about that. Maybe this is like you're saying, Dale, once a week ongoing time slot that requires a separate membership, that people can pay for this MetFix program, so they get ongoing nutrition once they're done week 4, and they can continue to change their life. And they use all the same information that we use here, but that's ultimately going to be up to the affiliate owner or the coach to figure out how they're going to structure that on a long-term basis.
Yeah, that's a great point, and thank you for bringing that up. How people need to think about this. Obviously, this is the first time we're launching it, so we want everybody to join along and do it with us in that second week of January. But like you said, think about this as like your on-ramp to MetFix. And so we want to launch this together, but it doesn't end at week 4, right? So, if you can get 15 people to join this, let's say, and you charge them whatever fee you're going to charge them for that 4 week, then inevitably the question will be, okay, well, is this over? What's next, kind of thing? And then you just roll out, hey, this program is going to continue. We're going to meet the same time every week. And the cool thing is, inside of the dashboard, we have plenty, like multiple dozen other lesson plans for the coach and owner to deliver weekly. So you just pick a different topic that you want to talk about, deliver that on that class, and then continue that program to go. And the cool thing about it is just, we see success amplified in group environments, not in individual silos. So if you can get, if, I don't know, I'm just making numbers up, but if 7 or 8 of those people convert to joining your routine weekly program, those people are going to be pretty tight. And they're going to succeed because of the accountability from with each other inside the group, not just them alone out there doing it. So do the Spark course, get it up and running, and continue it in perpetuity on that weekly cadence. And then what a suggestion is for anyone to join that regular group, they would then need to go through the Spark first, because it is that fundamental base of knowledge they need to have before just jumping in to that. Just like you would say, hey, before you join our regular CrossFit classes, you need to go through a 101 program. Once you do that, then you can join the regular classes.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning to do my coaches and I, we met this weekend, and we've planned out our program schedule, our nutrition program schedule for the year. We're going to run Spark twice, January and then in the summer.
Oh,
and
great.
then have other programs that we're going to go in between. So it's sort of, it could build, but the idea is that someone could join the other programs without having done Spark, and then they'll have an opportunity to do Spark, because each program has a different focus that teaches them different things.
Yep. Great.
It's all nutrition.
So real quickly on affiliate owner implementation timeline, right? So as far as like what Spark is, how to do it, et cetera. But for our affiliate owners, here's kind of what's going to happen next. So this is what we want you to be on the lookout for. And in full transparency disclosure, like the course is it's in the final process of being wrapped up. So we've got two more weeks to finalize the course. And that's just basically content's great. We're just now digitizing that and putting it in its final package. So what's going to happen is owners, be on the lookout for an email to be in your inbox on or about December 8th. That's going to give you like, welcome to Spark. Here it is, how to access it, how to download it. Then we're going to have our first working group that following Wednesday. And all working groups for this first shot at Spark will be Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right? So once again, this is just a voluntary thing. People can decide they want to join, right? So we're designing the course that you should be able to download it and launch it on your own at any time. But since this is the first time we're doing this and we want folks to do it together, we're inviting all the owners who are doing this to join a working group to where we will meet frequently. Well, actually, we'll meet weekly during the launch of the course to talk about, hey, best practices, this is what's coming up, and to be an opportunity for folks to ask questions and talk about what went well and what didn't go well. So first working group will be December 10th. That's a Wednesday. This is just going to give everybody an opportunity to say, hey, what the hell is this? How do I do it? What, et cetera. So we'll be there to answer questions, provide advice, feedback, the whole thing. That'll be the very first working group. Let me jump back to my document here. The next meeting, and like I said, all this is going to be in your email, but I think it's just important to get it out there now. The next working group will be Wednesday, December 17th, right? In that one, we're going to talk pre-launch, implementation, Q&A, ways, tips, techniques to how to get the word out, how to do that first meeting. Any questions folks have pre-launch, that will be your time to ask and answer that, right? Then we're going to go into the holidays. So we're going to go radio silent for a couple of weeks, and we hope you guys are doing the same as much as you can. And then the next, we'll meet back on January 7th. Okay. And so we'll meet back on January 7th, and that's all like introduction, readiness, any questions you have before you launch it up. And then it will meet that time every Wednesday. So it'll just be like, hey, we're going to talk about week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And we invite everybody that's doing this to join. You don't have to, we don't want this to, our goal here is for you to get this son of a bitch and get it out there, right? But if you want all the tools and helps and accountability and group support you can, we're going to offer that to you because we're all going to be going through this together. And that we'll meet weekly, and then I'm adding another one on there for a final week, and then it's going to be a final after action review. So we're going to review the whole program because this program is going to be living. We want to be able to make changes to it in real time and always continually improve it. So if that's something you're interested in, be on the lookout. If you're an owner and for whatever reason the affiliate emails are going to your junk or your spam or your whatever, just freaking email me. I'll make sure you're on the list. It's just Dale@metfix.org. Or however the hell you want to get a hold of me. Everybody should have my number by this point. But we want you sons of bitches in it. We want you launching this thing out there. We want to learn together from it. So not only are we launching the product, we've got a robust support and working group package alongside the ride. Having said that,
I'm fired up.
Having said that, Monique.
That was one of the things that I made me fall in love with MetFix was that this was a collaborative group. This was a group of coaches and affiliate owners who cared enough to, move their understanding of the body and health to the next level. And it wasn't just like, okay, here's what it is, now do it. It's like, we're developing this together. That was one of the first messages that I got from MetFix, like when we were doing our applications, right? And so this is that happening, right? Like I'm just an affiliate owner, right? And here I am, I get to help with this project. And so going through this together and getting together on a weekly basis as we're going through it, I know for me and several of the affiliate owners that we did the survey on, that's something that we want. And so I'm super excited that we get to do this together and not be out on our little islands by ourselves trying to figure out this nutrition world.
For sure. Yeah. And that's I'm gonna get on my soapbox and get off of it, but that was the core philosophy of, the founding affiliates in 2025. We really wanted them to feel a part of this, and not only like co-developers of this project that we go along, because they are the ones that are doing the work. They are the ones like on the front lines and knowing, hey, this is bullshit. That's not this work that didn't. So it's for us to have as much interest in what you guys are doing, so we can make the best products and tools and tips we can for you guys. Pete, do you have anything else before we go, my friend?
I would just encourage all the MetFix affiliates to take advantage of this opportunity, right? Like you said there, this is really, really cool. It can be for the Moniques and the Loris of the MetFix 100, maybe not unfamiliar territory. That was a double negative. Familiar territory. But for those who don't have this in place and are part of MetFix, part of this community, because they know that this is important stuff to serve their clients, take advantage of this opportunity, because we're, like you're saying, we're in it together, and we're gonna work through it and make sure that we can serve our clients to change their lives. Like, this is what the whole thing's about.
Absolutely, brother.
And even if it feels intimidating, just remember, like, even bad CrossFit still works. Even bad lectures. Let's say you just bomb every lecture, it'll work more than not doing it at all, right? Like, when I first started teaching nutrition, I didn't have a clue. My beginnings as a coach started out with, that's outside your scope. Do not recommend nutrition, right? That literally the first 5 years of training. And it wasn't until I switched over to the CrossFit method that it was like, okay, well, nutrition is like the first part of this whole thing. So, but I was terrible at it, and I taught terrible things. I didn't even teach the right things, but people still got healthier, even teaching the wrong things. Right. So it's like, now we have the science and we're teaching the right things. So even if you teach them poorly, it's still going to positively affect the health of your community. So I would say just jump in and do it poorly until you get better.
Yeah. Don't stay on the porch. You know what I'm saying? Big dogs got to get off the porch every now and then. But yeah, so a couple things before we close out. So be on the lookout for the email. It's gonna be fired out that week of December 8th. Hopefully inside that email will be all the working group scheduled meetings that you can click download. It'll add it right to your calendar for the rest of the program. If you're interested now, like, hey, just what I would recommend is, on the owner standpoint, if you're one of those folks who's got to be planned out 8 weeks in advance minimally on everything, is let your coaches know this thing is coming. Let your members know, hey, we are going to do a course, a challenge, or a New Year's, whatever you want to put it. It's called Spark. It's going to be coming the second week of January. And we're going to get you all those assets and stuff that first week of December for you to launch into, and then you can get a hold of the working groups and we can go through all this together. That's that on Spark. Hey, it's Thanksgiving week here in the States. Pete, you can just act like you know everything about Thanksgiving. I don't even know what they do up in Canada, but
we have Thanksgiving in October, so I've already done my Thanksgiving. And
okay. You've already expressed your gratitude.
That's right.
But we just want to give thanks for you guys. MetFix only exists, as Greg likes to say all the time, because the magic happens inside the affiliates, and we exist because of you guys. So, man, I can't thank you enough. And just know, hey, you're not alone. There's a lot of good people in this thing together, and our goal is to go find them and learn from one another, and be able to support and like make you guys successful as possible. So thank you. Have a great, wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you really take the time you need to just relax, reflect, and give gratitude for all the lives that you change. Guys, I appreciate you hopping on. Everybody at home, we'll be in touch. But this is Spark, and we're excited to launch this with you guys. So have a great day, and more importantly, have a happy Thanksgiving.